Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Hello, everybody. So glad to have you here. We have an amazing guest today, Karen Perry. All right, Karen Perry, I'm going to tell you about her briefly. Karen Perry offers a space for grace, and which is what she'll be talking about today. What a coincidence. To those that are ready and willing. Karen is a spiritual executive, energy leadership, and life coach to entrepreneurs and cultural creatives. A certified professional coach, Energy Leadership Index Master Practitioner, certified Energy Scan Healer Practitioner, former Emerging Edge Master Coach, CPA, and financial executive. She supports clients globally to live their most authentic life, reflecting their highest vision and deepest desires. She is the creator of Peacefully and Playfully and Powerfully You Executive and Leadership Coaching Process. Karen loves to expand the spark of possibility. Karen's intention, expect to be awed and amazed, love it, delivers proof that living life from the inside out creates abundance. Karen is associated with the development of approximately 500 million in multifamily affordable housing in the southeastern U.S., expressing her purpose of love. And so I'm so grateful to have you here today, Karen. All right. Love your love emoji there. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Daniel. It's such a fun honor to be here today. Thank you.
All right. So we're here to talk about a space for grace, but first, so we understand, like, you have had a path of getting really after it, right? That's all part of the game you had been in with the real estate development and all that. And I know that getting to know you over the years, I know that had created a little bit of burnout, get you a little crispy, and you've come to new realizations about how do we really play this game, so to speak. And you have come forth with this, I want to say, like, this theme, this anthem for the world around a space for grace, which we'll get into what that's all about. But I'd love to hear about what that's all about through your story. So tell us a little bit about your experience of getting toasty, getting after it, gunning it up, running and gunning it, to do great things in the world, and then what you learned in that process and what awoke it within you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, where to start? Back at the beginning. When I was young, God, I felt so loved and so appreciated. And we had a family business, nursery and landscaping, which was a lot of hard work, but it was fun. I mean, my dad was my playmate, and you would work hard, play hard. There was always time to help someone in the community that needed something. People dropped by, you sat and visit. There was plenty of time for everything. And then somewhere along the way, life sped up. All of a sudden, my dad left us, so I felt unloved and heartbroken. And at a young age, Mom took him back, and then there was some abuse. And the story, I've lived a lot of drama and trauma, and the whole time going, wait a minute, you're saying on one hand how much you love me. I was adopted, by the way. So my story of love and creating a space for grace goes from birth and before. So fast forward all of that to this conflict, internal, going, but I don't feel, but everybody's leaving me. So what's wrong with me? Why is everybody leaving? Did I do something wrong? But wait, you say I'm chosen and sought after and so loved, but it was so confusing. And the pain and the hurt was enormous. So I now understand at a young age, I made a strong decision that I would never depend on anyone. I would be financially independent. I could take care of myself, and I would work hard and find my way in the world and be safe. And so I now realize I was pretty successful in that. I started working, and I never the intuition and the part that I was trusting in myself and where I was going, I didn't plan it. One thing led to the other, and I was always there, and it's like, yes to that. Yeah, here's an opportunity it never occurred to me not to step out and step up with whatever was next. It wasn't a path I planned. It looked pretty dotted and over here, and no, wait, door slam over here. Now I can look back, as we all can, hindsight's 2020, and it's a perfectly straight path, perfectly straight. And it blows my mind at some of the greatest pain and depth and the highest moments as to what led me to here. So the successes.
Just jump in there for a sec here,
Yeah.
Karen. Just flesh that out a little bit. So when you say, I mean, just briefly, like when you say things went from here to there, but yet it was all connected, it was all meant to be. Could you share your story a little bit about that, like how you saw that unfold?
Yeah, like in college, my mother sold real estate. I chose to go to the university that I did in accounting. Was going to be, actually, I started political science because I wanted to be an FBI agent. I wanted the thrill of being a special agent and finding covert things and people doing bad things and catch them, and I could go, aha. And I've always been a student, and I love people watching. And I find people fascinatingly amazing. So I was going in the FBI, and I found out very early on that I would have to have 5 years work experience on a criminal justice or political science path. So I had accounting, foreign language, and engineering get you straight in after college. I was like, okay, well, I had already applied for engineering and gotten turned down. And I was like, I don't want that anyway. Foreign language was not my strong suit. But accounting, I was like, okay, I'll choose that. So that's why I became an accountant, to get in the FBI. And I had an awesome professor who happened to go to school was from my hometown. How about that? Who helped me get an application for an internship. That, I set a bar. I was one of the first non-Ivy League schools persons to ever get accepted to the first cut in our country. And so that was a huge accomplishment. I didn't mean anything at the time, but it was an accomplishment. So then I did not get the internship. So then I'm applying for internship. And 2 weeks before, this one I chose was a smaller company, more intimate. I love relationships, as I mentioned. They lost the client. And they said, we really don't have the work for you, but come on, we'll honor our commitment if you can't find anything else. So it's too late, and it was too late. So I went, and I did odd jobs with these partnership developers. I then get a job. I mean, everything leads to it. I then get a job. My first assignment was to go work for this company. 2 weeks in, I connect the dots. It was the same company that my internship was to be at. That was affordable housing development. I ended up being their controller, after 3 years. And then I left the industry completely for 2 years because the industry almost killed me. We were automating and the stress. So I left, and then get a phone call from associates saying, I've got a client that needs you, a CPA firm, come help them. Be their CFO, be their controller. And I did, but I didn't mean to. I set the bar really high and the number really high because I didn't want to go back to that. I didn't think. And all of a sudden, I walked out of the interview and went, oh my God, now what am I going to do? I have a job. Now I have to go do this. So I had 10 years with that company. And then again, it was about to kill me. And I went through 5 years of deep and utter stress. The whole time as a CPA, I'm taking 40 hours a year of continuing education, mostly personal development, because that passion for people just kept nagging at me. And the idea or concept that deep inside that I was unlovable, trying to find what was wrong with me. I had so many programs and still, my library is extensive, and I don't begrudge a moment of it because I may get a nugget or one, and all of it is a little more, I hate this term, but a piece of the puzzle, because I felt broken. I felt like I wasn't all together. And so the more success I had, the more I became debt free. I started with a little bit of savings, and I needed to double it, and then I needed to triple it, and then it needed to be more, and it was insatiable. There is never enough out there of anything to fill up what's missing in here, inside, and how I viewed my own self. Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, so I love it because what you're saying is that you recognize your whole life has been designed to have you really awaken that it's about this space for grace, that things are unfolding without you having to contort yourself or measure up or gun after it and all that sort of thing, and how everything is there for you, and that everything just lines up if you'll let it. And the more you relax into that, the more it just naturally happens, which I love, because that's obviously, like, you know, what I'm all about as well. This is what we're here about. This is what being a spiritual rock star is all about. It's like realizing we can just be ourselves. We can allow the energy just to flow, to manifest whatever wants to manifest, that's really ours to experience and to share and to be a part of, right? So that's what I'm hearing as part of your path. And you woke up to that through the depth of your despair and all the stuff that came up through your stress and everything, and it woke you, it broke you and woke you, right? So,
yeah, and the amazing realization is that I was never broken.
Right.
Now I can look back and because yesterday I felt broken again, and so now I recognize it and get help. Sometimes I can do it by myself, and a lot of times it's so much faster to have someone else looking and to holding the space for me to feel it, which is what I now give for others, is to keep expanding that space for grace to do its work. I thought, I have to do this, and felt more and more isolated and alone the more I worked hard. I mean, my hours that I worked 7 days a week most times, I never let it go. I was thinking nonstop and exhausted. And I had physical problems cropping up one after the other. You Google it, and the number one cause of each of them, stress. And I was like, I know I'm stressed, but what do I do about it? I was so unhealthy. My habits were too much alcohol, too much TV at 2 o'clock in the morning, just something to numb out and try to escape, because I couldn't figure it out, and it was so frustrating. And so this almost collapsed for me, to where I knew I couldn't do that anymore. And when I hit that place is when coaching came into my world. And so I got a coach, and I was blown away. I mean, the compassion and the ability to help the process to transform, and not reliving the past again and again, but really helping me anchor into the present and figure out where I wanted to go. Fast forward to today, that was 9 years ago. Fast forward to today, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going next, and I never did. I was only always present, and for 20 years, maybe 25, I fooled myself into believing I knew where I was going. And that's what I see happening so much, is we're trying to create it and manifest it and make it be what we think. So a space for grace is about turning everything upside down, almost. Everything I think I know, everything you think you know, every belief that you have. And boy, when I first heard that in training for my coaching certification, that we're going to examine your beliefs and you could choose a different belief, I almost walked out and thought I was in a cult. I did. I mean, at lunch break, I was going, oh, dear Lord, what have I done? I mean, they're telling me that I'm going to change. I know what I believe. I know how strong my faith is on my belief. And now I was like, oh, wait. It's the expression of that belief that has been so distorted that little by little, I'm like, yeah, where did that come from? Why do I believe that? Why did I work so hard and push so hard? And now just allowing life to unfold, oh my gosh, that is super juicy and fun.
Yeah. Wow. So what do you find, what is helping you to do that? I mean, you talked about the coaching, right? So that was huge in that.
Yeah.
But what, as you reflect on what's really helped you the most, what are some of the practices or some of the things that have supported, you being able to allow yourself to step into this space that you're describing, the space for grace?
Yeah. Well, I think it's multiple things. And sometimes I do more of one than the other. Meditation is one, centering and breathing. When I was back when first starting this journey, I didn't think I could meditate. I couldn't sit still long enough. My mind, my thoughts would never, they raced. And now I could sit for hours and hours and not just being nothingness and be really happy about it. And so that's a big part is meditation. Deepak Chopra and Oprah, both I've heard them say from stage before, if you don't think you have time to meditate at least 25 minutes a day, then do it twice a day. Do 25 minutes twice a day. So it's like you gain more by sticking with the journey and a process. And I've worked with several modalities and putting them together, learning how to quiet my mind. Some guided, some not. Learning how to pay attention to my body. So body awareness is a big part because everything's connected. Paying attention to synchronicities. That's the path. That's the illumination. That's a big part is making that an intention to, like I say, to be awed and amazed. When I expect that, people show up, things show up, I hear a word and I'll go, like it's a word I may have heard, but I'll Google the definition and think, that's an interesting, it'll catch my ear. It happened this week. I heard a word Monday, and then Tuesday I heard the word again. I met someone it was a bibliographer. And I heard it again and I was like, wait, I think I know what that means, but what is it? So I Googled it. And sure enough, it was something that I actually needed this week. And I knew someone and didn't know that about her. So as things unfold, everything you need is right there for you. And is another thing that I think helps a lot is what I have created from multiple, I wouldn't even know where I get everything I get. But another thing is I created peace pages to help other people. So that every single day, it's a daily practice of naming a pain or frustration because we're carrying those around. The negative thought patterns are so prevalent and they become habit. Why not name it and pick the most frustrating or biggest pain there is and say it in 1 to 6 words. So it helps us break out of a woe is me story. And then immediately flip to, I got to do these 3 things today. I get to do these 3 things tomorrow. And I'm grateful for these 3 things in life. And then I pick one more I'm blessed with. So those are a daily practice that I will go a while sometimes and not do it written. And then I pick it back up again. And it never ceases to reaffirm the importance of the daily practice. I have it in my clients. I see it. I was like, how's your daily practices going? And they'll giggle because I can tell they're all out of whack. They're all back trying to make something happen and getting frustrated and their energy's all over the place. So those piece pages is a tool that I use personally and also share with everyone to use. And it almost creeps up on you. And it's like you realize that you've let go of some negative stinking thinking. And all of a sudden you're a rock star in your own life. And you're like, wow, what happened? I'm not doing that anymore. This is, wow. Didn't even know what was happening. Better than I could have dreamed. Those are fun things to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So what came up for me as you were talking was a few things. And one of the things that came up was around these piece pages, for example, that you have that you share with your clients and all that. And I love that you talk about, well, what do I get to do? You know, what do I get to do? And it's like that childlike excitement that we get to play with. And that's what's so suppressed in so many people, is that sense of being able to play and create and live the life that you want, rather than the way it is for so many people that are wanting to do big things in the world or accomplish a lot. Like yourself, you wanted to accomplish a lot, right? So you got a lot of people feeling like, well, what do I have to do? All right, what do I get? All right, we got to do stuff, and what do we got to do? And it's that energy that burns people out, that people just can't. Most people can't sustain that.
No, it's exhausting.
If anybody really can sustain it in any kind of healthy way at all.
Yeah.
So tell us about more about that. How can you help people that say you don't understand? You know, I've got so much I really have to do. How am I going to sit here and talk about what I get to do? I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. How are you going to succeed doing that?
Yeah, and that's interesting, because that's one of the first things people are resistant. I was too. People are very resistant because it brings up a cycle. We have to die to something that we're holding on to, and this idea that we've got to get it all together and keep it all together. So the how-to is realizing, well, it's a process. And basically the piece pages, I'm like, okay, it takes 1 minute. And we basically bargain. We come up with something that says, for me, do you try, because if we're in a coaching relationship, there's a bond and there's a level of trust there. It's an intimate relationship where you have to feel safe. So I'm like, okay, just do it. This is one time. I don't usually tell people what to do, but okay, well, just trust me, do it till the next time we talk. 7 days, 10 days, for goodness sake. It'll take 1 to 5 minutes every day. That's it. 1 to 5 minutes a day out of your life, and let's just see what happens. So that's how. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, wow, you won't believe. And they don't even realize it, because a lot of times after they'll start, my clients will come back and they'll be like, I just have to tell you something. And they'll give me this list of all these things that have happened in their life. And I was like, really? That's amazing. And all that's happened, it allows our egoic self to take a back burner, because we start developing our unknowing, we start unlearning the habit of going to the negativity and controlling and forcing and manipulating and coercing ourselves and others.
Yep.
So now the more neuroscience that I follow and read, these people are showing where your brain lights up for these there's things. And I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of science behind this now. So it's fun to watch spirituality and science get to the same point. Mm-hmm. So the how is just a repetition starting in a small dose, 1 to 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that's the same way I started meditation, was 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And now it's up to 25 minutes, at least twice a day, and 1 minute. Sometimes I'll set a timer for 1 minute and move myself to another chair. I have a different chair in my office. I have a different chair in my living room. I have a rocking chair that I will plant my feet on in my bedroom. So everywhere I go, that is in my home living space, I have a meditation chair. So if I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I remove myself. But I'm a little girl and I have to go because she's rebelling and she's like trying to, the adult me thinks, the ego thinks I got this. And my little girl's, you know, pitching a tantrum. So I go get centered, let go of everything. And sometimes I'm not able to, and that's okay too. And I'll just breathe. That's how. And additionally, to the peace pages, is really starting through, you know, the Peacefully, Playfully You coaching process, powerfully. And I love that idea of true power. Internal power is humility and honesty from a place of truly not knowing anything. Because I like the word perspective here. It's about understanding that everything that you think you know from a certain point of view, a certain perspective, a view of the world through this lens. But if you move yourself over here, put yourself even in the other person's shoes. It's what we have these cliches, walk a mile in my shoes. Then we can view the world from their point of view. And when we allow ourselves to do that, we can we're not resistant anymore. Now we're starting to go, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know it was, we're open to different perspectives and thoughts and points of views that may blow our minds. And so then we have a whole new learning. So there's always this cycle of letting the old die. And sometimes that resistance is so strong and painful. I mean, Daniel, isn't that kind of why the Rockstar is kind of like that same concept of letting the path up, you know, and all of a sudden you're hey, I'm a rock star. Yeah. And then all of a sudden what happens in the dark is right. And Rockstar is right about that for sure.
Yeah. So the opportunity to be really connected and to shine and to share, just being yourself is the key. Yeah. You know, I coined the term spiritual rock star just from the people I was observing, the world that I felt were more connected, more deeply connected, the Eckhart Tolles, the Neil Donald Walshes, etc. Some of my mentors as well. And I just felt like, wow, they're like spiritual rock stars. You know, they're out there making a big difference, and they're doing it from a more centered, clearer place. Yeah. Whereas sometimes I see in, like, especially again, the motivational circles or with coaches that want to make a lot of money, the marketers come along and say, I can help you make a lot of money here. It's all the way to do it. And whether it's a system or a motivational system, or, you know, again, it all gets down to, okay, you got to level up, or like we were laughing the other day in preparation for this, again, he's made such impact, and I'm so deeply grateful for him. And yet I could laugh at what he says sometimes in another light. So Tony Robbins, right?
Yeah.
If you want to improve, raise your standard, right? Raise your standard. In fact, we don't even need to talk anymore. Like, that's the kind of way to, like, yes, you did pay $25 million to be in this program. All I'm going to tell you is raise your standard. I'm exaggerating, but not much. You know, that's what his mantra is, raise your standard. So we understand, like, and then the idea is that, so it gets in our mind, like, all we have to do is keep increasing. Always more, go for more. If you're going to reach 1,000 people, that's crap. You know, you need to reach millions. Oh, wait a minute, there's billions. Wait a minute, there's all the solar systems and galaxies, universes, the multi-universes. And then we got all the Akashic records to clear out. And then, you know, we know people that are doing this, right? So it's like, wait a minute, we missed one over here. You know, there's ants over here we missed. Or, yeah. So there's just this thing, never enough, and we got to keep going. And once every single molecule and fiber and every dimension, every aspect of every being is completely transmuted and it is into the light, and then we're going to be good. Then freeze dry it, right, Karen?
then we're back to where we already are, which is right here. Then I can relax. Then you can have this great life that you wanted, because now you got everything.
Yeah.
And it's, all that's wonderful. And, Ken Wilber does work with stages and intervals and stages, and it's not intervals, but the word just left me. And that makes sense, because we're always trying to, the world out there, we can't deny that. Or you can go live in a cave, that's fine as well. And your thoughts do without words. Your thoughts do change things. We've had science that proves that. So the energy, this vibrational frequency, and tuning in to that is certainly a part of my work, and yours as well. I mean, it very much, we're all connected. So this idea of oneness, and it's letting go of revving up the energy to do something. And again, the same guy, Tony Robbins, up-leveling, raise your standards. That's the same concept as perspective. We're stepping up and looking at it from a little bit more, looking at it from a little bit more. If you're down here looking up, it's a whole different view than up here looking down. And we have those beautiful artistic and renderings that show the spiral staircase, and it's breathtaking. So there's a thread of truth in everything.
Yeah.
The fine line that we can get so tipped to one side or the other is in efforting. Because if we're trying to control it, and even in the Akashic records, it's like we'll just go in and renegotiate some contracts in there, and we'll rewrite our world so that it works, our life, so in relationship with that person, so it works the way we want it to.
Yeah.
And that works for that shows there's a lot of success out there, and there's a lot of people doing great things because it has a modicum of truth of our creativity and from the creator, from the source. The key though is we only know what we know. And when we learn a little bit more, and then we have to keep up leveling, but then we don't know what's possible. So we're always out there looking for someone to give us a hint of the next. Or then we tune in and we go into the spiritual. And now we're going to the galaxies and the stars and the other planetary life, which is, I'm sure, out there. I know. I mean, we're brilliant. Creator is brilliant and in the expression. And we're all in ultimate communication. And we don't have to control it. What if we just let go of control? Because all the things that we want, from my experience, and when I hear clients and work with clients and I see it in their lives, when I hear testimonials from any modality, any method, it's all pointing to the truth to wake us up. To being is effortless. It's effortless. And we have to believe that we're enough. And that's this, what I call the space for grace, it's here, it's everywhere. I think Daniel, in a conversation one time with you helped me see it at a whole new level. You said, Karen, there's no empty space of grace. And I was like, oh yeah, it's all everywhere. And if we're showing up and present, ultimately loves it, and love's many facets. The word gets distorted, it's energy, it's emotion, it's feeling, it's thought, it's everything. Use a different word, I don't care. We'll pull on our friend William Shakespeare, a rose by any other name is still a rose. Words are pointers and it's never the thing. So we get caught up in the details. We get caught up on getting it right. We get caught up on how to communicate. And do we get the words exactly right so it resonates? We put ourselves in our clients and those we want to help and serve. But what if Well, now here's a fun play. What if our perspective changed so much that all of those that we wanted to help and serve, what if they didn't need any help? What if we loved them so much that we then just loved them right where they are? And if they're ready to change, they'll find us. Yeah, we show up, we do our things. I'm not saying don't do that. It's the thin blade of controlling and efforting. Yeah, does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally, Karen. I mean, so that is so right on, so gorgeous, and wonderfully stated. And that's the opportunity, and that's again what this show is all about, and why we're so excited to talk about this, because we have many conversations. So we wanted to be able to bring all this awesomeness that we discuss and share and embody and bring forth, and to be able to have this interview today to talk about what you talk about, a space for grace. And I know that you've worked with a lot of people. You worked with hundreds of people and helped them. I really want people to know on a practical level, because there's still going to be that mind piece. It's like, some people are probably like, oh, this is good. This is all I need. You know, this is what I want. Then there's another segment of the audience maybe thinking, yeah, but still somewhere, right? Yeah, but how do I get I need to pay my bills, and I need to start making more results, and I need to help more people, and more people really do need to be saved from cancer. How does this whole space for grace concept thing, okay, we'll just call it that, how does this thing really help people to be more playful, profitable, powerful, especially profitability? I want you to hit on that. So tell us more about that. How does it really put money in the bank account and all that good stuff?
Well, the real answer is I don't know. It's like
I have no freaking idea.
I don't know.
Right?
And I'm okay with that. What I do realize is that thin blade that looks like I got to get it right opens up into the vastness of everything.
Yeah.
And for each person, they know.
Yeah.
They know their path. So the power of the space for grace is the process, which, the peacefully, playfully, powerfully you, more profitability, all of that really does start with the basics, is connecting people with what I call V3, values and vision to victory. And that's a starting block. And I don't care how long you've been doing the work, and really where you are. I find very often that people's like, oh, I know what my values are. And we'll start to explore that a little bit, and we'll find that it's deeper than they thought, or it's shifted for them. And they have some from a long time ago, or maybe they haven't even named them at all. And so it's really creating what I call, it's a tether to what is within each individual. Because we're all connected, there's a lot of similarities, and it looks like, oh, do what I do. Come here, let me show you this. Do what I do. Well, that's wonderful if I'm doing something skilled and a technique. Yeah, I want to learn from a master. And the same goes that the masters are everywhere, and they'll always show up when we're ready. And so cutting ties with the lies tethered to the truth. That's what I call it. So we start to flesh out the beliefs, the stories, the lies that we tell ourselves that get in the way. And we do that by tethering or anchoring in with our values, qualities and characteristics that each person wants to express uniquely to them. They're not the same for everyone. Particularly in the Southeast, I always heard, well, I got my priorities in order. It's God, family, work. That's my priorities. And most people in the South, if you ask them, they'll tell you that. And they have no idea what that means for them. It means different things for every person, and it's not it. it's pointing, but it's the deeper connections and deeper values and clarity around what victory looks like. And success, like we said, we can get the more, we can get the bigger, and then we burn out. And there's now it's a syndrome, right? And we have an opioid epidemic because we're tuning out, because we're so not connected to what's important to each of us, because we're trying to do what the world tells us, that we have no idea who we are. And that was part of my awakening. It's like, I don't know who I am, and I don't like the person I've become. So I was back to square one. Felt really, I was like, and now I can look back and go, wow, what an opportunity. Let's make it up again. And yet we all survive. And here we are. You're here, or you wouldn't be listening. So there is a foundation. And it almost happens, almost always, it happens, it seems stealth, like it's happened on the periphery when we are doing some of the airy-fairy stuff, when we are getting into the feelings and emotions, we are delving into, well, what was it that pissed you off so much about the guy that cut you out in traffic? Really? Why did it anger you so much? Because then we carry that around. And once we unpack, we get behind the thing, there's gold. And there's a lot of energies leaking that then is the slingshot forward. So the how, it's like it happens and you don't even know what's happening. And that's what a lot of my clients, they'll provide a testimonial. They're like, okay, I was so busy. We created this massive vision and we got all the, I've always been told I had to get the details. And we worked on it in a different way. And then they're like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, everything and more just came. And I don't know how it happened. And it's better than I could have imagined, more than I dreamed, and it was easy.
Yeah.
So with each person, it's crucial to unpack what's important to them to find their tether. Yeah.
Beautiful. 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 Now, I know you have the piece pages. I believe you had that as a potential for people to be able to get access to that awesomeness.
Yeah, that's totally free. It's you don't even have to enter an email for it because, my passion is people. It is in sparking the inspiration, not motivating. To me, that's an external source if we want to talk about words and language pointers. But the piece pages are free on my website, and that's www.aspaceforgrace.life. aspaceforgrace.life. Under the resources tab, you could also enter aspaceforgrace.life/resources. And right there at the top, it'll mention the piece pages. And then further down is a list of book recommendations and references that have been part of my personal path journey. So if anyone's resonating with me, then here's a whole bunch of books that may help you along your path as well. Yeah. Depending on, where you go, everybody's probably read some of them, maybe not all of them. But yeah, we're continual learners here.
Right. I mean, look at Oprah, Book of the Month Club and everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the other thing is, I know that Karen, it's been a really powerful time together today with you. You really are embodying such a powerful place for people. And you do create that space for grace for people to experience miracles and the depth of who they really are, which gives you the sense of that true ultimate freedom. I do know that also that you are offering people the opportunity to connect with you further beyond the piece pages.
Yeah.
How do people get in contact with you and what are you offering?
Yeah, so if there's a resonance here, again, everything is a frequency, it's a vibration. And if someone is resonating with me personally, then call me. Let's have a conversation as to how I could support you. Where I personally have evolved and what lights me up is working one-on-one with folks. And so that's what I do now. It's just one-on-one work. And I have stopped scattering and splintering my energies. So if someone's resonating, then let's have a conversation. You can call me or email me, and I'm happy to provide that. I think you're going to put that information available as well. But I'll
show notes. We'll have it there as well.
Yeah, but I'm in the United States, so it's 1-336-817-9400. And the website, my email is Karen@KarenPerry.me.
Mm-hmm. Great. So just to make sure everybody got that, go ahead and say your phone number again.
1-336-817-9400.
There you go. And if they didn't get it at that time, they can back up the recording and listening. Okay. All right.
And one thing I wanted to add, Daniel, when I was listening to you reflect, I've seen some of my clients that were having health challenges, were also challenges in their office environment, and that weren't even engaging anymore, was avoiding family and social events. And in our work together, the partnership ended up merging with another one. She herself personally, more than 20 times financially increased her work value. And a lot of that it was effortless. It was easy. She didn't even realize it. Until the following year, she's tallying up her numbers and she's like, oh, what happened? I don't know what happened. She called me. What happened? She literally called me. She was working on her budget and projections for the upcoming year, and her partners were like, "Give me the numbers." And she called me and said, "I don't know what happened. Can we do it again?" And I said, "Well, here's what happened."
Maybe I ought to invest again.
I know what happened. Let me tell you. So it's that's what I'm saying. The how is really so amazing. The results are phenomenal. People's relationships changed. The relationship with family members that were splintered improved. My own personal relationships changed. Our connection, I only work with people, we'll use the word spiritual, that are really wanting to grow spiritual. We're spiritual beings having this human experience. I don't care what your practice is, what your religious bend is. I'm finding that it's all connected. We're all saying the same thing. And so the more of us that can dial in and say it, that it keeps expanding the thin blade to the vast openness of everything, the space for grace continues.
Yeah, beautiful. So I just really appreciate you, Karen. You, and just reflecting on who you are for a moment here, like I always do at the end of the show. I just really see how when you were just like you've been doing and showed up today fully in this way of you're just in such a beautiful connected space, that there's such a channel and wisdom and depth of embodiment of presence that's available for you, and that you're pointing to for everyone. And I feel that as you continue, as you would say yourself, continue to embody more of what you understand this whole thing to be about, you're going to see so many new opportunities unfolding for other people through the space you're holding. And all you have to do is show up and just, give to them. And just by being there and being you and sharing what you have to share. And so the opportunity for people to connect with you through your phone number, which was already given out, and to be able to spend some time with you to get some support free of charge, which you're offering, that's incredible. So people should not hesitate if they're feeling the call to contact you and they're ready to do that, is to go ahead and call you.
Yeah, leap, jump.
Yeah.
You're a rock star.
Exactly.
Own it.
All right.
Don't worry about the how. We'll figure that out.
What's that phone number again?
Well, Daniel, I mean, you're awesome. And I have the pleasure of getting to work with you on a regular basis. And I am, thank you for your kind words and your support and encouragement and your love of everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so for Karen, again, what her phone number is, again, tell us.
1-336-817-9400.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to look it up myself. I got it right on speed dial here. So, so anyhow, and then for those of you that may want to connect more with me again, I'm at yoursacredpurpose.com. I have a free meditate and make money meditation to bring you into this sort of connection, clear up the chakras, get you aligned each day, listen, stop, listen, manifest, all that kind of good stuff. So if you would like to experience that awesomeness that's there, and the opportunities to connect with me are there as well. So Karen, I'm just so grateful for you, so deeply grateful that you are, that you're just so in tune and in your depth with understanding and bringing these amazing truths into the world. And just much love to you and many blessings to you and our audience. And just so grateful to have you and look forward to having you back someday.
Mwah.
Okay. Okay. Big love to you, Karen, and to everybody. Goodbye for now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.